The finance accounting world is very interesting. I feel like the entire universe needs finance accounting professionals, but to get into specific industries can be extraordinarily difficult. I'm specifically going towards getting into the games industry, and to that end, I interviewed Tim Korecki at EA Games, just in an attempt to get the idea of how do I get into the games industry. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, my interview with him was not able to be recorded. But prior to my interview with him, I always saw the games industry as a humongous industry. You're talking multiple companies located all over the globe that produce video games, and each one of those companies needs a finance team. But it seems to be magical in terms of how you actually get into that industry. Shortly here, we'll hear my interview with John Beecher, who is Syracuse University's School of Education Budget Director. In my interview with him, I attempt to look at getting into a higher place in the finance accounting field, as that is my field of interest in my career path that I've chosen. Prior to my interview with him, I feel like getting into finance and accounting is easy, but the problem is moving up. And I have struggled with that over the years, just trying to get above my current station, above that entry level area. And I'm hoping that through some questions with him, I might be able to move forward.
Today I have the opportunity to speak with John Beecher, who is the budget manager at the School of Education at Syracuse University. I'm talking with him in regards to landing a dream job in the world of finance and accounting. Thank you very much for joining me today, John.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
So, John, how did you ultimately land your job here at Syracuse University?
Well, it's been a long, winding path, I'd say. Going way back, I started in exercise science, believe it or not. And then after I graduated from exercise science, a degree in exercise science, I was working at a gym and working with mainly corporate clientele, and they were talking about all the things they were doing on their daily basis as I'm running them through their exercises and stuff. And I said, you know what, that sounds a little more interesting than what I'm doing. So I went back to school, back to graduate school, got a master's in business administration, graduated with that, and then I actually fell into the world of research administration, basically managing grants at an academic institution.
Okay.
And I was working in smaller. Research administration is pretty small, and I wanted to get into bigger and more comprehensive things. So I kept just finding other jobs, and every probably 2, 3, 4 years, moving up in the ranks, and with that, moving usually to a different location, different school. So I came to Syracuse working in College of Arts and Sciences as a budget analyst. I did that for 2.5, 3 years, and then the job opened up as the budget director in the School of Education, which is considerably smaller than the College of Arts and Sciences. So I thought that would be a nice transition, and that's how I ended up here.
Okay. That is from exercise science to budget administration, huh?
Yes. I know. It's interesting because exercise science, ironically, is in the School of Education. So I'm always sure to tell the professors in exercise science that, hey, I have a degree in exercise science. Look at me now.
So what would you say you found to be your most valuable experiences that contributed to your success?
In this current position, definitely working for 3 years as a budget analyst in arts and sciences. It got me familiar with all the different systems, all the different processes, all the different procedures, the policies of Syracuse University. College of Arts and Sciences is run, ironically, a lot differently than education, mainly because of the size of it. but having all of that information on how Syracuse University runs these types of things, and definitely, obviously, the software and stuff that they use. Those are things that I didn't have to learn when I came to School of Education. So that's critical.
Already indoctrinated into like the universe of SU's kind of financial backing.
Right. and as you might imagine, it's complicated. So having that base knowledge already and coming into, run an entire budget. And actually I started, when did I start? April or March? I started in the spring, and the budget opened, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks. The budget for the next year system opened maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I started. So it was trial by fire.
Yeah.
Like I said, I knew the SU way of doing things, but I didn't know anything about the School of Education, funding, or I didn't even know the departments. So it was it was exciting.
I can imagine. So over like all of your time, and maybe even here at the university, have you ever had a mentor?
Not formally. However, I have had along the way people, more senior than I that I've sort of latched onto and thrown ideas at. It's nice, the current position I have now, we have the budget directors from each of the colleges. We have a group that meets every month. So it's not a mentoring situation. However, one of the people in that group I consider sort of a mentor. He's at the tail end of his career and has seen just about all of it. So yeah, it's more of a balance between mentoring and just being in situations with people in the same position that, facing the same things, or maybe even facing things that I haven't even thought about yet, and they bring it up and I say, we should probably look at that.
Yeah, and really being able to grow and kind of feed off of each other.
Yeah, exactly. All
right, so I guess kind of the last thing here is so for somebody like me who's closer to the ground level of the accounting finance career path, what advice would you have for somebody like me who eventually wants to have like a full career, who wants to be like a budget director or a finance coordinator of like a company?
Yeah, so I would, first of all, I think you're doing the right thing, getting the degree. That'll open up a lot of doors for you. And the experience. I mean, you're building your experience now, so if you were to stay in SU, these things pop up occasionally. Room for advancement, maybe not necessarily in School of Education, but throughout the university, or any other college for that matter. Like I said, I've bounced from college to college, not because I wanted to, but because that's where the opportunities were. And also getting involved in networking groups. It's sometimes difficult, but there are, just ways to stay in tune with what's going on, and also, the more people know you, the more they might think, hey, who'd be good for this job? Or when you apply for it, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He does good work in education. Let's give him a look. Those kinds of things, just familiarity with other people and with other groups that you may be interested in, however that presents itself.
All right, John. Well, I want to thank you very much for joining me today and taking time to answer my question.
Sure.
And, thank you very much for contributing to this for me today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good luck.
So my post-interview with John is very interesting because John and I kind of have a similar path. I actually didn't start with finance and accounting. I started with English education, went to criminal justice, and now I find myself in the field of finance and accounting. So it was good to know that I'm not alone in that kind of a path field that I took. What was also interesting was that, I am gaining experience, much like he did. Have done it all over, and now I'm here at SU, and I hope to really make a career here at SU. So then it came down to mentors. I was lucky enough, like him, to have mentors. I'm hoping that he can be a mentor to me in the months and years to come, and to grow my career here. What struck me the most is that it's all about networking. I struggle very much so with networking, and I think that hearing it from him, but also hearing it from Tim, when I had a chance to talk with Tim, that networking is crucial. Apparently, Tim said that the game industry, despite my thoughts of it being huge, is actually extraordinarily small. And that he said, what you need to do is you need to network. You need to constantly be constructive with the people that you meet with, that you work with. You need to work hard and show that you do good work. And people will remember you. But also to be curious and to never be afraid to ask questions. And I think that the same thing kind of here goes with what John was saying, is that always work hard, always do your best, and network where and when you can, and let people see how you work and who you are, and that will speak volumes about your ability. This was certainly an interesting project, and I look forward to continuing my career in finance and accounting, and maybe someday I will get into the games industry.